guys, we are through match day 7 for CAF World Cup qualifiers. And to be honest, we're now starting to see the picture become more clear. We have our first African representative already officially confirmed. So Morocco, start packing your bags. You'll probably be somewhere on the East Coast because this is how this World Cup will go. But we have some other teams which are either closer to making it or some teams who are holding on by a hope, a prayer, whatever thread they are holding on. I'm talking about you, Nigeria. I'm talking about you. And we're going to talk about it today. We have Nii Wallace-Bruce from PSP Media. I did some content with him before, and honestly, I felt like it's time. I need some Ghanaians with me here so that when I commiserate over a draw versus Chad, I can at least look and say, see, I'm not crazy. And when I need to, go in on Nigerians because you all those strikers and you got one goal versus Rwanda. I will enjoy this. So Wallace, welcome to the program. How are you doing? Tell us a little bit about PSP Media before we get into a CAF World Cup qualifiers and the likes.
Classy, it's always a bonus. Always a bonus when I'm on the show with you. So it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. And like you, I am always challenged by autocorrect whenever I type things in. So let's 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 focus on the good things. And PSP is one of those. We've been a media company for 4 years now. So covering a lot of different football, baseball, but soccer is the passion. And the World Cup is coming to North America. And I'm excited, man. How are you feeling?
I'm excited for it, just the idea that I'm going to have the World Cup so accessible to me, whether that's in Toronto, whether that's in Vancouver. At one point, I was thinking, I'll just hop over the border in Buffalo, catch a flight, and fly somewhere. Unfortunately, my Twitter account right now would stop me from doing that. So Toronto and Vancouver are where I will be taking the World Cup this year. But no, I'm excited for it. Like, it's really amazing to see that something that you've watched all your life, you actually will be able to enjoy it. Where I am, I'm down near like Niagara Falls area, so I know we're gonna get a lot of people on off days say, what are we gonna do? Let's do a trip to Niagara Falls, which is just every year for us. So I am emotionally preparing myself for traffic everywhere starting in June till there. But I'm excited for it. I mean, I know for Canada, they're excited for the team. They just had a nice game versus Romania, which is good for them and building up as they build for it. But the opportunity to be able to see, say, like possibly Ghana play near me is something that I never thought I'd be able to do. I've seen them live in Ghana before, but to be able to see them here, North America and the other African sides, I'm pretty much excited for that. Some of the ticket information is coming out too, so that's making it a little bit more exciting. The first shock of just like, oh, 3,000. Oh, okay, I can afford a bar. I can't afford these tickets. But so I'll stream it. I'll find it illegally. BBC One, come, let's go. BBC, let's go.
Let's go.
But
ITV.
but yeah, but like seeing some of the pricing, they're saying like some tickets could be as low as like $82 Canadian in place, which I'm like that's reasonable at least for me. So I'm excited to see some of these African teams come up. I'm excited to see some of the newcomers come up and be able to showcase themselves here on the world stage. I still have to emotionally prepare for 48 teams at a World Cup and not 32 because I'm looking at these groups. I'm like, okay, so we're not finishing top. Oh, we can finish top three maybe. Okay, top three. It gives us hope.
Yeah, the new format
Mhm.
is it's something, isn't it?
It is something, especially because like we're gonna see a test run of this at the U17s that are happening in Qatar later this year, and so watching that'll be curious to see how that format works, how it kind of plays out. That'll be a nice test run for visually how it looks because I was looking at some of the formats. It's like and the top eight third place teams. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? This is so now I have to look at goal difference plus points. Someone's going to go with three on a -1 and they're going to make it to the quarterfinals. And this is just what it is. It's all about matchups and its styles from that. And one thing I always talk to like a lot of my Canadian friends when it comes to teams, like they had a big performance against Ukraine, then they struggle against Cote d'Ivoire, which I mean that game was a I looked, I was like, Frank Kessie just like fouling and then getting into Kyle Aaron's face and laughing right away. I was like, yes, African football. Like, I've missed you. Come forth to me. But like, I'm curious to see the different styles that will come through and how they clash together on the pitch. But the fact that we get this here, I'm excited for it, especially the matches. We're gonna have 13 matches in Canada, so I am looking forward to it. Whether that means flights to Vancouver, which I mean, hey, I am poor. I am poor. To travel this country, I am poor. But we'll see what we can do with that. But for you, are you gonna try to get around and catch a game at least, or is the plan just ITV, BBC, whichever one streams at home? What's your plan for
Yeah,
World Cup?
it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I saw Australia play Ghana in Sydney in 2008.
Okay.
I saw that
Okay.
live, so I've seen the Black Star. But yeah, there's something special about seeing a team, especially in international football.
Mm,
So if I can see a World Cup game, just one, that'll be great. Toronto will be the priority,
mm.
but if I have to go to Vancouver, fine. If I have to go to Mexico, I'll do that. Not sure about in between.
That you forget, yeah, Mexico is an option. That's true. I've always wanted to go to Mexico, so maybe that's my vacation with everything. So we'll see. We'll see if we're just laying work notes. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be sick a few of these days, or if these calls don't make it, I'm sorry, but we're gonna try to make it through. But we'll see what happens with that. But as we said, we're gonna talk about CAF World Cup qualifiers. Match day 7 has come and gone, and I mean, there are some big headlines for it. There are some teams that were there that were pretty much excited to see playing. Were some sides that we are wondering what happened to them. And we're gonna get going with that, starting just kind of a breakdown of where everyone is after 7 matchups. Let me pull up the loveliness that is here for you to see. So, a quick rundown of where we're after 7 games in Group A. We do have Egypt, who are leading Burkina Faso. Something I said in my preview. Oddly, this window, match day 8, September 9th is basically the do or die day for a lot of these teams. We have a lot of 1v2 in the group matchups coming up. Egypt is playing Burkina Faso, I believe, on the 9th. And then you have Senegal and DR Congo as well. And then Gabon is playing Cote d'Ivoire as well. South Africa is playing Nigeria as well. So there's a lot of we're going to have dreams that are going to either live on or die on this September the 9th day, which I will be very productive at work. I will let you know right now. I'll be FIFA Plus has come in clutch for me. And so it's just 2 screens and then, work emails. And we're watching and we're clapping and we're wondering what's happening. But Egypt is at the top of the group with 19, Burkina Faso with 14. Effectively, that is the matchup for Group A and Group B. DR Congo with 16, surprising for some, over Senegal and 15. Sudan finally lost the matchup, which means though they're still alive for second place, though it might be a little bit more difficult for first. Group C, this group has been chaotic, and if Nigeria is somehow able to beat South Africa, again, if they are, we'll have to wait and see. That makes that group more interesting, but they are South Africa with 16, Benin with 11, Nigeria with 10, Cape Verde 16 with Cameroon with 15, Libya. I don't sleep on Libya yet with Cisse there. They are at 11, and I think they can push. If any of the second place teams slip, they might push to get into that spot. Morocco are confirmed through. They're 8 points clear. No one can catch them. So Morocco, pack your bags, pick which coast you want to go, pick which
Yeah.
beach you want to visit. You are set to go. We talked about Group F and Cote d'Ivoire over Gabon. That matchup is happening on the 9th as well. Algeria are pretty much close. They just need one more point and they can move through. They'll be 7 points clear if they get a point over any of those Uganda or Mozambique. Group H, Tunisia. Namibia dropping their last game pretty much opens the door for Tunisia just to get a result and they're set to go through.
Mhm.
Group I, we will commiserate over the chat player is still running through the midfield. Like
Yeah,
he's still dribbling through. He just reached Senegal. He's crossing through the Gambia. I think by nightfall he'll reach the coast. Still hasn't been
exactly.
checked. No fouls.
Just
But
dribbling
just
through.
dribbling through. He just dribbling through. Comoros actually are playing Central African Republic later today. And then Ghana plays Mali on Tuesday as well. So for Mali, that is a chance to either to get back into this game, or for Ghana, this would be to give them only one team to worry about, which would be Madagascar. And then the second place finishes. We'll talk about that for there. But
Yeah, I was
since
about to
we're at
say.
Group I, yeah, the second place. Actually, let me pull up the second place
Because this
table
is new. Because
quickly. Yeah.
at the start of the qualifying, I was thinking, okay, you have to finish top, and then I had my usual
Mhm.
stress and anxiety because Ghana was middling. But recently, I've seen that the four of the best second place teams can go through.
Yep. It is. It is different. And like this is the whole conversation when it comes to CAF, where I always laugh and say, can we just pick a qualification system and stick to it? Because it's 1 year. 1 year, it's okay. You win your group you're in. Last year, whenever they go to we're only gonna have X amount of teams, home and away, and then whoever wins that goes. For some reason, it's always Egypt. Egypt always
Mm,
gets like the short end of the stick. Because in
mm,
2014, it was Egypt versus Ghana, and like 6-1, and that crowd was like, okay, well, that's great. Solid, it was great. And then the next year they went in groups. Egypt won that group. Ghana was in their group, and then they went through. The year afterwards, it's okay. We're gonna do home and away for the top 12 teams or the top 10 teams, and they got Senegal after playing them at in Afcon finals. And so it's just like,
mm-hmm.
well, you can't avoid them. Good luck for you. But this matchup is for those who aren't aware. So the top four second place teams, so as it stands, it's Gabon, Cameroon, Senegal, and Burkina Faso. They'll play in a 14 playoff, and the winner of that for Africa goes to the Intercontinental Playoff. And so, with that being the case, you're playing for second place. Some teams like are playing for second but may not have a chance. Like Tanzania nearly have no chance just because the group that they're in had a few, like Congo had to drop out, another team had to drop out. So they haven't said how they're going to make up these points, but just off points they can't reach. And when you have teams like Gabon who are just running away and keeping pace with Cote d'Ivoire, it makes it difficult. But as it stands here, you see a lot of interesting names. Madagascar there creeping up on the rear here, but Burkina Faso playing well. Senegal, I mean, for a lot of people, those are the names where you say, okay, there's a lot of talent there.
Mm.
What's going on? Cameroon and then Gabon. When you're looking at these second place teams, are there teams you are surprised are there, or teams that you are would like to see kind of fight for those intercontinental playoffs positions? How do you look at these second place spots here?
Yeah, the top four is expected.
Mm,
You know, they've done well at AFCON. Burkina Faso had Julian Patrick for years. Gabon has Aubameyang.
mhm.
I see Tanzania, Uganda. Coming up. They hosted the CHAN recently, so that's good because East African has kind of dragged down this continent. So what I said.
We are guys. If you aren't sure yet, we are taking names and we are making statements today. Okay, so if you feel, get into the comments and tell us why we're wrong. It's okay. Okay, it's okay. We're here to dialogue. But no, East Africa. Like I have my best friend, my best mate is Kenyan. The other one is Gambian. So we talked about, and there's a clip of it here on the channel here. We talked about just Kenyan football, just the whole shebang of it, and where there's always going to be, and you can say it about African football as a whole. You're going to have your issues, whether that is just federation, whether it's tribalism, whether it's corruption, whether those things, and it's unfortunate those things are there because there's talent. No one's going to look at Africa and say there isn't talent. And the thing that we're seeing more and more is that the the lower to middle class of footballing teams are rising up in terms of talent. There are no more. I mean, I would say Chad is an easy team, but I mean he's still running through the midfield. He's still running through. There are few minnows, is what I'm trying to say. There are few minnows in Africa now. If you are a good side, you are going to be pushing, and like there are a few teams. Yes, you have like maybe a team, maybe two in every group that are just you get there, you collect your three, you leave, and then you go. But everyone else are a struggle. Like look at a side like Nigeria in their group where Rwanda gave them trouble, Lesotho gave them trouble. Like this is not a it's not as much of an indictment on Nigeria as it's also as a compliment to the fact that the quality of football on the continent is rising. Our level of coaching is rising. Now we just, need to work on the infrastructure and the coaching infrastructure as well. If we rise that, now we're at a point where we're there. But there are few minnows left on this continent, which means you have to play for every point. A draw isn't just, you can't be disappointed in a draw because the other side gets paid too. And so I am excited for that. Like a team like Uganda pushing, I'm excited to see what they can do. Namibia have always been, I underrated them at the last AFCON, and then I will never do that again. So Namibia have been building. Namibia have been building. Madagascar have beaten, they beat Ghana in World Cup qualifying. And so you can't look low on them. Burkina Faso, from country to the pitch, it looks like they're starting to get everything together. So you'd love to see them on the world stage there. The Senegals, the Cameroons, I mean, those are the names that are associated with class on the continent. And so there's nothing really too surprising with that. I think for me, the surprising factor is just the fact that we see teams we don't expect leading in these groups. Like DR Congo is leading, Cape Verde is leading the group. That's why you have Senegal and Cameroon there. Gabon is just a point off of Cote d'Ivoire, who have been basically been informed since. You're welcome, Cote d'Ivoire. You're welcome for AFCON. I'm gonna keep on saying that. Richard Ofori sends his regards. Yes. You're welcome. Okay, but the middle class is there. Is there a team here that you would love to see at the World Cup? We're looking specifically the second place sides here. We'll talk about the games that were here in a minute. But out of the second place current sides, is there a team that you would love to see at the World Cup on the world stage?
I guess in terms of two parts. I want to see Aubameyang there. He's in this loyal set for Gabon. Could have played for France. Could have played for Spain, I believe. But he chose Gabon. He's a captain. He's a leader. He deserves at least one World Cup appearance. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Now, the second part, we need to see more countries, more new countries. So now FIFA is Africa more spots. So it's no longer 5. It's no longer 6. It's what, 9.5? 9 and a fraction. Okay, so that's good. But as I said, want to see East Africa there. Want to see Zambia get there. I know they're not in the second place, but this is a bit more of a general statement. So to answer your question, Madagascar, I'd like to see them there. Not expensive Ghana, because I'll crash out. I really will.
No, we would. I don't want to have a situation where Nigerians or anyone else are coming to be like, hey, we are all watching from the stands, eh? We are all watching. No, I'm not gonna have that.
I'm not looking for AFCON, by the way. No.
See, AFCON for me is just like their whole World Cup qualifying. They were just snake bitten, right? Ghana was just the way they missed shots. Like you went from I was laughing at the end because it was comical. Iñaki Williams gets the ball and it's him a third of the goal and the goalkeeper is scrambling and it hits the one part of his leg that gives him no control and it bounces back to the keeper. I'm like, this is just emblematic of the whole thing. So they weren't bad. They just couldn't finish. Right? And you saw shades of that against Chad after they scored the first goal. It was just like, just put 2 away and you're good.
Okay, that was naive on Auto Addo. You're 1-0 up on the road. The subs came late. I know we're going to a match report here, but I'm not going to let this go. The subs came late, and you didn't bring the defensive steal. It's like you're let's hold on to the result, but let's half get a goal.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a bit
I
half
mean,
baked.
we might as well talk. We might as well talk about that Chad Ghana game because yes, they started off well, and I don't think they managed the game well. Right? It looked like they said, let's try to repeat what happened versus Chad in when we played in Ghana, and it was like, okay, it looked the part. They just only had the one goal, but other than that, it was because we messaged right after the game, and I was just like, it's the chances to me. The midfield is a conversation in itself, but if you're gonna play that type of a style where you're saying let's keep the pressure on and push, then at the 60th minute, say we're gonna keep the gas going, but we're gonna throw in new wingers. We're gonna throw in maybe a new midfielder to keep pushing. You can't push that till like the 80th minute and then
Mm.
start making changes because now you're tired. Because you saw the effectiveness of fresh legs coming in. It was like, okay, if this came 20 minutes earlier, maybe we have another goal or maybe we can push. But at that point, it's like, okay, now we start to relent. They lost gas on in terms of what they were trying to do. I don't think Otto Addo managed that game well.
No,
And as a result, he ends up there. The midfield is a different conversation, but in terms of if he's trying to put pressure and score, he should have made subs earlier to keep that pressure going and keeping it
mm.
fresh. How do you feel about? Because I know you have thoughts. How do you feel about that Ghana Chad matchup?
They're still on top of the group, but they
Mm-hmm.
missed an opportunity. They could have been
Yes.
Morocco. They could have killed this off, guaranteed or almost guaranteed second place. They could have really taken advantage. But now the door is still open. It's open for Madagascar. It's open for, help me out, who's the other country? Mali,
Uh, yeah,
Comoros.
Molly can jump right in. Yeah.
So for me, they should have come up to church. This is a team that
Mm-hmm.
didn't get a point before that game. They weren't great in front of goal. And yeah, you really could have pressed and just put the hammer down. They didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. They didn't. And they weren't able to finish. And yes, Junior, Jordan Ayew gets the goal, and he's leading the team in goals. But like, this is a conversation with me where it's okay if Jordan's your nine, fine. I that is your choice. I think we have nines that we can give a shot to at this point. Like someone like a Thomas Asante, I don't know why they didn't bring him in.
Mm.
Because I feel like he would have been. He looks dangerous when they give him time, but again, substitutions. What are you doing? I feel like they don't have an answer outside of Jordan at the nine. You've decided Inyaki's better out wide. Fine, okay, and that kind of works better for him if you want to play him into space and have him create. Okay, it's fine. On the other side, Antoine Semenyo, I think. I mean, we look at his two misses in the game. It's like if he hits those, he puts it away. Life is we're breathing a lot better, and life is good. But it's just I don't know what their option. If Jordan gets hit, what's their nine option? Are we going Jerry Friet again and hoping in the are we hoping in the hopes of tomorrow, or can we get someone who can actually score? Because to me, your defenders, if you are fully healthy, right? If Ghana's fully healthy, Jiku's back there, is center back, right? You have your fullbacks are good. Your defenders, your midfielders rather. Assuming Partey is cleared, he is good, right? Because that is hanging over him now. And like
Mm.
to me, I'm like, for me, I was like personally like, get that sorted before you get back here because there's yes, some Ghanaians don't care, and some people are just like, look, we just want you to play. We don't care what else happens. But to me, I'm like, get that sorted first before you come in. But if you have someone like that there, that's done. And then the attacking, we've never had an issue. Kudus will always be dangerous on the ball, and it's the question of who's going to get the goals. But the nine, and then what you do outside of your midfielders, I think those are the big issues for them. If they don't have answers for that, then you're kind of stuck asking what do you have suggestions? Do you have possibilities for that looking forward.
Yeah, so there was a 9 who's Ghanaian, who's banging goals near you. He's doing it for Forge. You may remember Prince Owusu.
Okay.
Um,
Prince Owusu. Well, Prince Owusu right now is at Montreal right now, but yeah,
you're not feeling it.
I don't know if I'm not feeling it, but what are they? Prince Owusu to me is more of Jordan's style. I think they need a better transition 9. Like a 9 who can go and up and down and play within that space. Because if they're gonna, right?
So like a 9 that plays in the back to the goal. Someone that can help out in transition in midfield, do some dirty work, but also tap in and do what it's supposed to in front of goal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think that's Otto Addo, Winfried Schaefer, the TD of Ghana football. They're gonna make calls. Get on the dual nationals. Yeah.
Mm.
You have a passport? Come. You want a passport? Get on that. We're going to start doing that. Canada's been doing that for 12, 18 months. There's still time. Jamaica's trying to do it. Mason Greenwood. But I think Ghana has talent all over.
That's a whole conversation.
We'll leave Mason Greenwood in England or France or wherever he is. Marseille. Perfect club for him. Marseille. Classic club.
Chaotic club. Yes. The best. Exemplary player development. But like, no, I think it depends on what the 9 you want for Ghana comes down to how you want them to play. Right. And that's where it's like, I wonder if Jordan is the best one to lead that line, because you look at the players around them and it's like, okay, Semenyo is going to go up and down. Kudus can go up and down. Iñaki is going to go up and down. And then you have Jordan. And Jordan is like, okay, I can. That's where I'm like, Thomas Asante would be better suited for this, because he gets in, and then that's a much more transition type team. And then that means your entire front 4 are pretty much interchangeable. Whether you want Semenyo to be more of the 9 and playing there, then Thomas can tuck out wide. Kudus can be more of the 9, and then Iñaki, if you trust him, can keep tuck inside. Iñaki can go up top, and then anyone else. Jordan just feels like Jordan is like, to use a Canadian comparison, Jordan to me is more of a Kyle Larin, where it's like, yes, he can do that, but you want him in the box. You want him to play 1-2s. You want him to win fouls, move that way. That's how I look at Jordan right now. And to his credit, he's done the thing that has made us be hesitant. He scored goals. He has been the one consistent thing in terms of scoring goals, and you can't take that away from him. But if you look at the rest of their front line, it feels as if the side doesn't quite know what it wants to be. Do they want to be a transition side, or do they want to be a possession side? And the players up top scream to me transition, whereas the players, their fullback, not even their fullbacks, their central defenders scream possession-based, slow build-up, and it's like, okay, well then put the team on the pitch that suits that, and then go from there. But
yeah.
So
maybe you don't have time to do identity, because now you're going to tournament phase, pretty much. You're a match or two away from get your best players and get the best 11 out. Jordan is isolated. What you said, very, very telling. The guys around him, Kudus, Williams, Semenyo, and even Owusu behind, they can interchange, they invert. You could almost have a false 9 if you had the right number 9. Jordan is not that. Jordan is often on an island, and against Chad, he wasn't great. He scored. Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah.
But against more technically adept opposition, he'll get crushed. Center backs will eat him up. You won't even get to the center. The defensive midfielders will just dominate him, and it'll just be frustrating Can Ghana operate with a false nine, like a false nine?
It depends who you see as being that false. Because if you're gonna do that, the best person to be who would be the best false nine in that type of
Kudus,
scenario?
Kudus.
Which
As
is where
from
I would agree with you there.
yeah,
Yeah.
West Ham Kudus, the 10 that can go into the box. Yeah, he will be the 9. Find someone else,
Hmm.
or maybe Inaki takes his spot on the wing. Semenyo's on the other side, and then you have one more to interchange Kudus, perhaps.
Mm. Yeah, because then in that situation, your outside wingers in that case would be Semenyo and Iñaki, and then you use
Mm,
them to bomb forward a bit. They can
mm.
stretch out, and then when you stretch that out, then you have some more options moving. So yeah, I would agree with that. Like I'm still on the until Kofi Tres steps onto a pitch, like I'm gonna let that dream just kind of just be a dream for now. I've missed him, but like it feels like he's been rehabbing for years. But just get back on the pitch for me. But I think that 9 could work, or call me crazy again. Brandon Thomas Asante he's right there. He is right there. Just put him. I think he'd be better. That you can play better in 1-2s. We've seen him in transition at the Unity Cup. I think he would be best served for that. One quick player I want to see what you thought about it. Caleb Ritchie, who played as their right back in this game. Young had a nice Unity Cup. Came in some moments looked great. He misses an opportunity early in the first half, where it's just one-on-one v the keeper. But then also at some points he looks 19, right? Where it's
Mm-hmm,
just
mm-hmm.
the defenders are saying yes, we have grown man strength, and others and they try to bully him. And other times he was able to go. How did you think he fared? And do you think yes, you have Gideon Mensah, Rick Lamptey is there? Do you think he is playing his way possibly into being a starter at the fullback for this Ghana side, or is he maybe the first fullback off the bench for you?
Get in the hot tub time machine with me. We're going to
Okay.
2010, South Africa.
Yes.
Samuel Inkum, fullback. He was part of the under 19, no, the Youth World Cup winning team that Ghana had.
Yes.
Oh, so many opportunities. Anyway, Inkum was part of that squad. He gets called
Yes.
up to the senior squad, goes to South Africa, and makes a name for himself. I see that with uh, our man number 2 right here. Pace,
Yes.
youth, and he's so young that he's just playing. He's not thinking about the occasion or pressure. He's just going out there giving his best. Reminds me of Miles Lewis Skelly for Arsenal. Another kid
Okay.
who's
Okay. Good shout.
playing against men and he's just doing his thing. And as long as he doesn't get bullied, he can fight for a starting spot. I don't know. Okay, let me ask you this. Is Otto Addo going to manage at the World Cup if they get there?
Yes, I think he will.
Okay. So
I
I think that
he's not done, and he like this is the reverse of 2022, where coach comes in and says, "Look, I'm not here to win AFCON. I'm here to get to the World Cup." Like Otto did the opposite. He said, "Look, I'm not even going to qualify for AFCON. I'm just going to get to the World Cup." And to be honest, they've been fairly respectable here. They've won the games they should have. Yes, they dropped 2 points against Chad. They didn't lose. Like in
mhm.
World Cup qualifiers, you win at home, draw on the road, that gets
Yeah,
you there.
yeah.
And so he's done that. He drew against Chad, which I mean, we'll all look and say, I mean, that's 2 points lost. But he got points on the road, and now he's playing Mali at home. So I think he's there. It just feels like sometimes, like the thing I said in 2022 about Ghana was, look, if everyone on your front line, if the only 2 people who are good distributors of the ball are your starting 9 and one fullback that you barely decide to play, you have a problem. You just have a problem. And so for him, what I like about Caleb is his distribution, his involvement, his width. It's great, and he's another distributor on the pitch now. I mean, Iñaki, more again outside, but second 10, but winger for this team.
Mm-hmm.
You have Semenyo, who is a wing forward in that sense. Jordan is a wing forward in that sense. Kudus is basically a second striker in that sense. Right? You need some distribution on the pitch. Gideon Mensah does a great job. I would love for them to try Mensah and Lamptey if they're not gonna give Caleb more run against Mali. I think it'll be. I'm curious to see what he does against Mali in terms of his lineup. If he decides to run that lineup out and say, "Hey, this we're gonna run the same lineup we did against Mali and see what happens," or if they say, "Hey, we just didn't manage the game right. We're gonna run the same thing against Chad and see what we can do." Curious, but I think Caleb is doing a good enough job to have the conversation. Is he still young? Of course. But the moments when he's just out there playing, I think he looks great.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that helps him is that there's always injuries at the fullback, right? Whether it's Mensah, but especially Tariq Lamptey. If Lamptey could be healthy, he'd be the starting right back, no questions. But because injuries always plague him, soft tissue injuries always, I think Renchi has an opportunity to to pencil his name into the starting 11 and go from there. So I'm very much curious to see how they go through that. But I think Caleb's doing, as long as he's healthy and available, I think he goes there. The only thing I would say for Otoado is I think he will be the coach in 26 because they're not gonna. They have a coach and like they're getting consistent results.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the GFA Kurt's not gonna be like, but we drew Chad. Listen, okay. Listen, we couldn't be Comoros with a fullback playing a goalkeeper, okay? A Chad draw is the least of my worries, okay? It's the least of my worries.
That gave me PTSD. Just reminding me that, wow, what a result. Anyway, you're right. We disparage Chad, but a point is a point. It could be West. It could be Nigeria.
Anyway. Speaking of Nigeria, the joy, guys, what are you doing? But yeah, so I think they're fine. I think before we get, actually no, we'll do predictions at the end here. We try to keep it going from there. But Nigeria, I look, they get the win and they're alive, but then they fall. But they're 6 points out. If you're Nigerian, you're still hoping and praying for a review. Cass, good to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. Let us know if you've been watching CAF World Cup qualifiers, who is standing out, who's doing well for you there. But for me, Nigeria, it's not about this window. To me, it was last window, right? Where they had games where they could have closed the gap more. They needed 6 points last window, and I think they left with just two, if that. Right, the odds against Lesotho, they got behind the 8 ball, and they would need to be perfect. And the problem is, like, I don't. They have more. Nigeria has more strikers than some teams have quality players, but they just can't put the ball in a net this cycle. And realistically, right, if we're very honest, they've been this inconsistent. Even when they had their deep run at AFCON, it's not like they were blowing teams away. They were defending with a bunch of attacking players, getting a goal, and then afterwards, holding on at the end. So there's a part of me that looks at Nigeria, which is disappointed because you want to see all those high-profile names at the biggest tournaments in the world. But if you look at their past performance, it's the same conversation with Ghana, right? When Ghana fails to make AFCON, and everyone's like, oh, what's going on with Ghana? And I'm just like, we couldn't beat Madagascar. We struggled to score. We couldn't beat Comoros. This is nothing new. Like, the demise has been televised. Like, and so with Nigeria, it's not being able just to put it together for whatever reason. When you look at Nigeria, I mean, as Ghanaians, I mean, we enjoy this. This is it brings a smile to us. But there's a level of disappointment where you think, hey, you would love to see your top players and your top teams there. What went wrong for Nigeria? They're not out of it. I mean, a win versus South Africa and they're right back in, but South Africa have been playing well. What went wrong for you for Nigeria? Is it just the call-ups? Was it the coaching? Is it chemistry? Is it the passion that they have for the crest? What is the thing for you that caused them to not be at the level where they should be performing?
Well, a semi and the striker is now hurt, so that doesn't help. He may not feature against
Yes.
South Africa, but this is a
No,
sum of
he's
the
already gone
parts.
back to
Yeah, he's going
he's
back
already
to
back
Turkey.
in Turkey. But yeah.
This is a,
Mm.
like you said, individual greatness, but you bring it together. It doesn't mesh when you have 3 or 4 days to train together. It just doesn't. Maybe that's the
Mm.
management. They didn't. They haven't come up with a plan, but they're coming up against good teams that are more organized, teams that are able to withstand the individual talents. So
Mhm.
they've they've messed up. They messed up one too many times. They're like Italy in UEFA. They've messed up with
Yeah.
individual greatness, and they're running out of time. It's getting late early.
Mm.
What do you think?
Yes. That it is. Is it like one thought I've had is it just that they can't play, they just struggle with breaking down a low block? You see
Hmm.
the stereotype that goes out with a lot of these African teams that they want to get out and run. They want to be in the transition and likes. But then you put them against a low block or a defensive low block, and it's like they struggle to pass through. It's a conversation I had earlier this year. Just the idea of like the creative 10, like that creative midfielder, it doesn't really exist in the world game anymore. And Nigeria, they have winger talent out again. They have striker talent, but that creative 10, that creative midfielder who's going to go in and say, I either have to take on a couple players here to create something, or I'm going to pick a lock with this pass. I'm going to thread the needle and create something off of a run from the nines. Like I watched against Rwanda, they had some movement. I think I would have liked a little bit more, but is it just we're missing? And I'm not trying to single out Lookman here, but someone in that role who can just be. I think there's a reason why everyone loves a player like Kudus, because it's like look at the talent, look at some like the creativity sometimes. But is that the thing that you think is missing for Nigeria? Because they have you can't argue that everything else they know. Maybe one of their fullbacks need to be fixed, but other and goalkeeper Owen Goodman might be available, guys, if you want to make a run. But like, if you is it just the 10 role? Because I feel like they have everything else, but they don't have that thing where you're gonna run against a team, and it's whenever we talk about teams and why they struggle, I always say your neighbors know you, but your guests don't. So,
Hmm.
like, you see Canada lose to Guatemala. Yeah, because look, this is the region. They're our neighbors. They know what we are. So they're going to say, you know what? We're going to do this differently. In Africa, look, they know who you are. Rwanda got a result against them, have gotten multiple results against them. They know who they are, whether it is because Nigeria can't score, but is it just a 10 role, you think, for them that is missing, lacking for Nigeria?
Shout out to JJ Kocher, one of the great
Yes.
creative midfielders. They they would love him to respawn on the field, but those kind of talents, like you said, they don't. You're going to get a winger before you get a creative 10. And
Yeah.
in CAF, God is a good example. Plays very wide, but opposition has a low block. They know what's come. They're disciplined, and they're going to smash and grab. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
defend, and then beat you on the counter. So maybe, yeah, I don't know how you fix that. But
Mm-hmm.
teams like Ghana, Nigeria, they have the talent, but yeah, that creative 10, that quarterback, that guy pulling the strings. Nigeria, hmm, I don't know.
It's just something I wonder about because well, Lookman has been good, and like Lookman is, it has been he's the African Player of the Year, but you wonder if like is that the best usage for him? Like he's looked there's almost a level of expectation that comes with that. Few African players have maintained that, but we saw Eto do it for years. We saw Drogba do it in his style. Right now, I mean, we see Salah doing it almost to a point where we not only have to look at him as one of the best African players of all time, but you also have to look at him as maybe one of the better Premier League players of all time,
Mhm.
if not in a conversation, especially just based off of his rate of finishing. But again, Salah is a winger. The thing that's fascinating with like a team like Egypt is you have the emergence of a Marmoush. You have him. You have Salah, and now you're like, okay, if you want to put Marmoush as the 9, okay, cool. If you want to put him out wide as a winger or put him as a 10, you have options. Or if you want to play like a 4-4-2 and put those two up top and let them play off of the space that's available, you have that. That's also another conversation we'll have a little bit later, which is unfortunate. You don't. It's not only just you don't have the 10. If you look at African players, you have wingers for days.
Mhm.
But like Osimhen, Girassi, Marmouche, those are your top 3 strikers. And then
Yeah.
you're having conversation as to what else? Who else is there, right? And people, you let me know going from there. And so, like, it's going to be very fascinating to me to see how they're able to come through. Segode, I see you. I see you, Nigerians coming to South Africa to watch Bafana pass the ball. Hey, a draw gets it done,
Yep.
right? A win, and you guys pretty much put them to sleep for first place. But that's where it gets interesting and very much fascinating in terms of where it goes. But let's talk about some of those other matchups that came through. Egypt let's move back to Group A and kind of work our way through. Egypt gets the result. Um, they are now effectively their Burkina Faso matchup away from pretty much solidifying a ticket from there. How have Egypt looked like to you? And do you think they are very much set, barring a collapse, from going to North America next year?
Yeah, I mean, this is Egypt. The last 15 years, they're pretty solid,
Mm.
and this is the mo. That mo, Mo Salah mo. Anyway,
Very, very nice,
moving
very
on.
nice.
They're well set up. They good club size, and the guys coming from Europe, they got a really good depth. And you see
Mm.
the Afcon, you've seen it in qualifiers. They've been unlucky, like you said, losing to Senegal last time out. But when they get a chance, they often take it. And Salah, this may be his last chance. So he's going to want to go out on a high. I remember the AFCON where Trezeguet was the star, and
Yeah.
Egypt would like, it would be 0-0, and then Trezeguet would score. They don't have to do that. They got Marmoush, like they said, Salah, but the midfield is strong. Trezeguet can do some dirty work. He can create a little bit. They got a solid side. Solid side. What are your thoughts on Egypt?
Mm-hmm. I think Egypt. I mean, Marmouche gives them finally the wing depth where you can't just say, okay, this is a side where if we remove Mo Salah, we are good, right? And that's when we got to the international stage. That's what it used to feel like, right? In Africa, like you could Egypt's going to be a team that are going to be solid defensively and then let their great players be great in those moments. I think when you add a Marmouche, Trezeguet again has been there. He's performing well. Faisal, I think as a 9 has been complimentary. Egyptian fans, let me know if you think you can do better or if you think he's been really pushing well with that front 3. But the team feels a lot more balanced and more ready to be more pragmatic and almost designer in terms of how they're playing. They're no longer just, hey, we're gonna defend well, get a goal, dash, grab and dash, and we're good.
Mm-hmm.
But they seem like a side now that says, hey, if we have to play a little bit more up tempo, we're not afraid to, because yes, we have Mo Marmouche is there. Trezeguet can keep us well. We can bring those numbers forward and look good. So I think their development over the years and having more players emerge at this level, especially to the level where they're at, I think helps them. That Burkina Faso matchup is going to be a key one to keep an eye on because Burkina Faso did look good in their game, and so for me, it's I think they're ready for that type of a matchup. And but Egypt, I think they're built to play however they need to play, right? And
Hmm.
so for me, it's the emergence of the team, the solidity of it. I like what I've seen. Again, it's a big window. If they beat Burkina Faso on Tuesday, they are basic like start wondering where you, same as Morocco. Pick the beach you want to visit first. Pick your travel route. Where are you gonna stop? You want to stop in Montreal first? Feel free to. You want to go, stop in Florida first? Feel free to. But that's where they are for that. So I like what they've been able to do so far. But Burkina Faso aren't going to lie down for them, and so I am. That's going to be a fun matchup to see on Tuesday. A lot of, again, like we said, a lot of matchups are coming up on that Tuesday are going to be for all the marbles, for lack of better words. Burkina Faso have a chance to either keep fighting for first or pretty much keep themselves and say we're fighting for second. A win pretty much gives Egypt their their tickets over. So I think that'll be interesting for them. For there, when we get to Group B, DR Congo, Senegal, Sudan are your top three. They have looked good. Again, Sudan finally falling to Senegal 2-0 in that game. DR Congo gets the win earlier. But the matchup coming up is DR Congo Senegal coming up again on Tuesday. But how are you feeling? Of course, always good to see you, sir. Haiti looked good in their match, and everyone else has looked good as well. But
Hmm.
DR Congo and Senegal, when you see Senegal, they are the for me, Senegal, if not Nigeria, Senegal are the Hollywood team. You look at the names like, oh yeah, he plays for Senegal. He plays for Senegal.
Yeah.
I wondered with them because I have a Senegali and I'll talk to him tonight. I wondered with Senegal in terms of when do they really start transitioning from the old guard and letting some of those younger legs come in and complement the side. Sadio Mane is always going to be a legend for
Hmm.
all the right reasons, but when do they start to push? It's just been one slip up for them. But for them, DR Congo or a side like Senegal, for Senegal, have you seen any of their World Cup qualifiers and what are you looking forward to seeing from them when they're the next matchups coming through?
I saw a qualifier very early on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. I focus on Ghana, bias,
What?
whatever. I'll give it the wall. Don't
Never.
care. But Senegal, we know they have Nicholas Jackson. He's on loan at Bayern Munich. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
big move because he was gonna he was gonna rot at Chelsea on the bench. So Bayern Munich, he can compete. He'll be with Kane or deputizing for Kane. That's the guy I can see taking over from Mane down the line. How do you see
Mm-hmm.
Senegal, the Lions triangle?
I I think they are built on paper to finish first, but it's just the results here that matter. And I think they have looked good. I liked how they looked against Sudan. Sudan again have been solid defensively. So for them to be able set piece goals and then get goals in open play, I've liked that for them. I think for them it's just getting that result pushed through. Right. I feel like again, Nicholas Jackson, I would love to see him again, how they are able to interact and put all those players in. Their game. Oh, that's Seychelles. I have this feels like a work day for me. I have like
No.
12 tabs open on this, and I'm just like, okay, clicking
Wow.
through. There we are.
Shout
Nope,
out to
nope, not
Sudanese
them.
coach
Nope, South Sudan.
Kwesi, by the way. He guided them to
Yeah,
the Chan final or semifinals. Great job.
Chan semifinals. Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, it fell to Madagascar there, and then just lost in the World Cup qualifiers. The work he's done with Sudan has been great, but I think for Senegal, I want to see DR Congo at the World Cup. I would like to see if I can be very much greedy. Those two teams I would love to see. DR Congo and Senegal, I want to see them at the World Cup. If I had to make the choice, because I think DR Congo could, I think they're physical enough that they'll either catch a few teams and they have the talent. Again, this is Africa. We got wingers everywhere. I think with Wissa out there, I think they can do a good run there. But I think for them, when that matchup comes, when they have to play uh, DR Congo, I think it'll be a good and fun. It'll be a good and fun matchup, but I think Senegal on paper have more talent, but DR Congo have been a little bit better, just defensively solid, and I want to give them the advantage. But that group will go down to the wire. So I don't. I think whoever wins that game, they'll be fine. But we'll see kind of where it goes. I've not given an answer. I've very much spoken in generalities for that because I don't know how to feel about it. I If I could get them all in, if I could get them all in, I'd be happy. I would
How's
certainly
this
be
for
happy.
how's this for a group? DR Congo, Iran, and the United States, and then one other team. France. We'll throw that.
I mean, in one other team.
Okay, not France because of seeding,
Just
but
casually France. Just casually
no,
France.
not France because
Yeah.
the seeding wouldn't allow. But you know what I mean, like U.S.,
No, they
Iran,
wouldn't. Yeah.
Congo, and Venezuela. I think they're still in the playoff mix. Yeah, we'll throw Venezuela on that.
That would be interesting. I think the third place would really open it up. Like the third place slot opens it up because if not, like Iran are always going to be solid defensively. And then I think like which US team shows up? Is it the team we've been seeing the last year or is it the team that shows up when they play a dysfunctional side and are able to, look like world beaters? That's a conversation. But that would be a fun. But the fact that you get a third place finish would open it up and make it a lot more interesting for that. Because now you're just instead of saying you have to beat one of these top teams, you're just saying, look, beat the team you're supposed to and draw the other games, and sir, you have a chance to move on. And that's what this World Cup might be. It just might be beat the team you know you can beat, and then just get a draw somewhere. 4 points. We won't be as excited for 4 points as we have for other World Cups for years past. 4 points is gonna feed families, okay?
It's like Euro 2016, the first of the expanded form. Iceland, Portugal.
Yep.
Portugal won it. Just bare minimum. Just draw. Extra time. Bare minimum.
Honestly, that would be it. That would be it indeed. And then we go to Group C. The big matchup is Nigeria versus South Africa. If South Africa wins and Benin doesn't get a result, South Africa can also just decide, no, Bafana, pick your flights. That's what it would be, right? That's the matchup they have. If Nigeria wins, then Group C is alive again. But then again, Nigeria, like, they got the win. Maybe not as convincing as some would have wanted it to be, but they got the win. And also, South Africa got their win versus Lesotho. So now you're looking at basically if you're Nigeria, a win and you actually have life going into the last window, but a loss basically because their second place is too low to be, and that's the other thing. Like Nigeria second place for Nigeria won't do it. They need a first place. They need to top the group. If not, they need every other second place team to collapse. Gabon's not going to do that, and they're already at 18. Nigeria maxes out at 19 points. So, like, forget the first place there. Second place, they'd be the fourth second place team, which means They need Burkina Faso to drop points. Everyone from them and below have to drop points and not do anything. This is for life or death for Nigeria, not only for the group but also for second place.
Hey,
Right? There's no other option for them.
as a Ghanaian, I will be watching. I will be.
Hey,
What is it? Not hate watching, but Schadenfreude, Jollof watching. I'll be Jollof watching because yeah, you know my thoughts on that. Ghana
yes,
Jollof
yes.
is the best Jollof, but seriously, South Africa is good. That Bafana is back. It's been too
Mm-hmm.
long. They need to be back at the top. They're a strong nation, and they have the goal difference. Even if Nigeria
Mm-hmm.
wins, I don't think they overtake South Africa on the goal difference. So Nigeria has to win. That's a lot of pressure, and I think South Africa are well set up. They should be able to get a draw minimum.
Mm-hmm.
They should be able to do enough.
A draw, a base, yeah, like we said, Nigeria needs to go. They need to run the table. I don't care how ugly the games are for Nigeria. As long as they have one more goal than their opponent for the next 3 games, that's the only chance they have. And then they need South Africa to drop points because first place is their best shot. I don't think they make enough points to get to second into the playoff. They'd be like the first team out in the playoff. And again, if you're Nigerian, you're praying, you run the table, and you pray that South Africa gets hit with this, this 3 points deduction that they've been praying for through this entire process. Like, hey, burdens are lifted at Calvary apparently, and for Nigerians, it's Lagos now. So we'll see what happens with them. But again, they have to run the table and go because I don't think there's anything else left for them to do. Cameroon versus Cape Verde. I am conflicted with Cape Verde, Capo Verde, because, and San, I see you in there, man. I hope you are doing well this weekend. Like, Cape Verde have been my don't sleep on African side for the last 6 years, right? But Ryan Mendez and I are the same age, so like he's doing a great job. But they're a side for they don't even feel nostalgic for me, but they're a side that I feel if they could have made the World Cup last time, like 22, I think they could have put a better showing. But hey, right now they're getting the results, right? They're not scoring as much as they've done in the past. Only a +4 goal differential versus Cameroon, who have blown some teams out, but they're doing the job, right? And what you love about that is you're getting results and you're moving forward. And I believe that's another um, September 9th matchup, if I am mistaken. I'm going to make sure that is correct. But
Big Tuesday.
let me just.
Big Tuesday.
It's a big two. I've considered taking it off and just sitting down and watching all these
Mm-hmm.
because it is a big day. It's a big day. Yeah, they play Senegal on Tuesday. No, DR Congo does. Cape Verde, Cape Verde, Cape Verde. They play Cameroon on Tuesday. I am telling you, Tuesday and for us at noon. Tuesday
Yes.
at noon, you have Senegal versus DR Congo, Cape Verde versus Cameroon, Gabon versus Ivory Coast is the next game, Burkina Faso versus Egypt. Like that's 4 banger matchups, and Ghana plays Mali. Please don't lose
So
that. Don't
you
lose.
come into work and then 10 a.m. just start sneezing. Start
Listen,
headache, fever. I gotta
hey,
go. And then on the way home,
allergies.
pick up some peanuts. If you like fast food, it's 2 for Tuesday. Hit up your favorite chicken joint.
Yep,
You good?
that is true. But truthfully, Cape Verde versus Cameroon. Cameroon on have talented players. Cameroon is I look at them with more extent with like Senegal, where it's Senegal have names and maybe they're just past their playing prime. Cameroon, I look and say like, look, Onana can save. Onana will either make a great save or he'll make your nine look like the greatest nine who's ever played. And so the variance for that is just like, okay, whichever here comes first, we'll see. again, Cape Verde is another side I would love to see on the big world stage. Would they be able to perform well? Maybe not. But we've seen Cameroon come in and have good performances there. And Libya, I think with Cisse as their manager, you don't sleep on them because they're just one win away from all of a sudden they're at 14. They're not going to catch, but they're that third place team that's lingering, and you just need one second place team to slip up, either Cameroon or Cape Verde to slip up, and then next thing you know, they're no longer in first. You could have a team drop from first to third in this group. I think that's how much variance you'll have. But I think Cape Verde again, Cameroon on Tuesday at noon for us here. That's going to be a big matchup. That is the separate. In college football, it's separation Saturday. No,
Yes.
Today it's the trials on Tuesday. Today it's it. It's time to see who is going, who's not. I am excited for that matchup. Morocco, congratulations, guys. You guys are going on. Like you're good, and like Cameroon, this Congo and Eritrea. I mean,
Well,
thanks for being here. This Congo situation it's basically doomed Tanzania because they can't make up the points.
mm-hmm.
Like they cannot make up the points for second place. And 8 points up. Morocco, I mean, they're the first African team to qualify, so congratulations to them. But you have two teams drop off. It's basically hindered Tanzania's chance to move forward. And it's unfortunate because they are a side they're starting. They had again. They were part of the three who hosted Chan,
Yes.
and they made the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
All three hosts made the quarterfinals, and all three hosts lost in the quarterfinals. But hey, there's no. I'm not even saying that to be to be tongue in cheek and the insult, but it's like, hey, you guys have shown when you lock in what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's unfortunate for their Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon. We know that game is happening. Burundi, I mean, could have made it interesting if they could have got a result, but weren't able to. Gambia and Kenya, this is my group chat at home, so watching them go back and forth is fun. But Cote d'Ivoire again, Aubameyang, we would love to see him at a World Cup. But Cote d'Ivoire have been one of the better performing sides on the continent from AFCON quarterfinals on through. They have looked great in their performances. And so right now, it's a big matchup. Whoever loses that matchup, worst case is a draw because nothing really separates. But I would love for a team, either Cote d'Ivoire to go clear or Gabon to go. Because even if Gabon wins, like they're only 2 points up. And so it doesn't really change unless you think that this is the end of it for that. When you look at the last couple groups that we looked at, Cote d'Ivoire, Gabon in Group F, and then, I mean, Morocco we've talked about, but Cape Verde and Cameroon. Do you have a side that you are supporting, a side that you feel you would love to see at the world stage? Who has looked good to you based off what you've seen?
Cote d'Ivoire haven't conceded yet. 7 games. That in Africa, flying around to near and far, playing on all kinds of pitches and refereeing shenanigans. That's remarkable. Yeah, that's consistency. So, like you said, they set the stand. Frank Kessie's in the midfield. He'll rough you off as he sees fit, but they are African champions as well, and there's good reason for that.
Agreed. Algeria are
There's a nation.
That's a nation. How have you seen Algeria here? Because they are a side to me that the variance for them is like 2014, where they're just running through everyone. They're having fun. They're scoring goals, and then you have at the same time, and then 2022, where they went 47 matches without losing, and then fell apart at the end versus in one of the most dramatic. Like I watched that World Cup qualifiers against Cameroon that they had. That game made no sense. Like that game legitimately made no sense. But they are there. They are just one piece away from going. When you look at Algeria, what have you liked about them? Do you have any concerns about them?
I like the development. I like Mahrez is still the leader, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a young crop coming through. So after Mares, they're in good shape. Now,
Mm-hmm.
on the other hand, okay, analogy time. You go to a party, family party, and there's the golden child, and your parents are like, why can't you be like that? Well, that child is Morocco, and
Yes.
you are Algeria, and you're like, uh. So
I I
there's gonna
I
be
get
that,
I get this. Yes.
right?
It's true. No,
Algeria's,
that yeah.
yeah.
Like they are a side that have been kind of doing the same thing as like that is such a good they Morocco is the favorite child of the family. Like they're the one that gets propped up and like deservedly so. Like they're like look at how they're recruiting. Look at Morocco. They have another duel Diaz from Real Madrid. Like look at everything they do and Algeria like we recruit too. Like
Mm,
we've got some players like we've looked good. We've like well, like, mom, mom,
okay.
I'm doing
Look at me. Look
things.
at me. Look at me. Look at me. Oh, Morocco's hosting the next World Cup, 2030. Algeria's like, but, but, but.
Like we're doing things, and like the problem with Morocco, I think sometimes is they are a side that can start a matchup so on fire, and as quickly they can cool off, and you'll wonder like, wait, we're playing Algeria still, right? Like I forget what which recently the last Afcon they had a game where they start off the half and it's just like goal. I'm like, oh, okay, Algeria's here. End of the game, it's 2-2, and you're like, yo, the other side was just like ran through them as if they weren't there. Their variance is just so high. Like they're a side that you look at and say, okay, they have the talent to do it, but again, their games get really weird where it's like whether they mentally shut off or whether it's a mentality thing. Like a lot of it's between the ears. The talent and everything below the neck, you talent is comparable. Between the ears, for some teams, it's just like, come on now, be a little better. They play Guinea, and like Guinea is, I mean, Girassi and friends. Like at this point, that's the unfortunate thing. Like when you get to some of these African sides, it's like, yeah, they have one great player, like Guinea, the Poland of Africa, a
Mm.
great striker, and yeah, some Guinea, but like that's where it struggles. But yeah, Algeria to Morocco are like Morocco have been getting A pluses the whole time. They got the scholarship to the big school, and Morocco's like, look, I'm going to a fine university as well, on a full ride as well. I just didn't win like the national. You know what? Never mind, mom. I'm gonna show you that we can do something. But then also, like sometimes they just can never. They'll set half the table for dinner, but then they won't set the other half, and it'll just be like you're so close. But I think Algeria again is it's matchups. Algeria, they'll get if they get the right matchups, they can be that fun side. At the same breath, they can be the practical side that says we'll just be solid defensively and kind of look at what we have from there. Tunisia are basically there. Tunisia plays Equatorial Guinea, and listen, Equatorial Guinea is the side that you don't know what you're going to get from them, but you know you have to fight through them. Like Equatorial Guinea is like, what we have a third division Spanish fullback who's our striker, and hey, he's clinical. He is clinical, but for Tunisia, they're 1 point away, 1 point up, and they've done it. Namibia dropping points have basically handed Tunisia the opportunity to go to this World Cup. But when you look at Tunisia, they play Equatorial Guinea their next game. Namibia are playing. I just had
Okay,
it.
so that's a good point.
Yeah.
Is that a potential event? The fact that Tunisia is almost there, maybe they take the foot off the gas. Equatorial Guinea might have a bit of a leg up as opposed to
Mhm.
Namibia, who are going to have to fight.
I think it allows you to play how, like, it opens the door for how you want to play. So for me, I think it's a conversation of, do you trust, if a team needs to come out, then you can sit back a bit and then you're playing on the counter in that sense. So then you're just waiting. You're waiting for the spaces. You're giving your fullbacks the green light to bomb forward when, if you can trap them through. You're hoping, you're clogging the midfield and saying, worst case, nothing direct, just crosses you're getting. And then if you can turn them over or catch them in a transition, then you're going and you're setting players out. So I think it works for them because for Tunisia, they just need a draw. I think they'd want to go out with a bang and say, when we want to qualify and we want to stamp it. But at the same time, look, whether I stamp it, whether I 1-0 it, whether I 0-0 draw it, as long as I stay 7 points clear of Namibia, Pennsylvania, welcome your Tunisians. Let's go. Like, that's what it is. And so I think for them, I think they'll sit back and then just, again, another team haven't conceded a goal throughout the entire process. Them and Cote d'Ivoire are the only two teams who haven't conceded, I believe. And so for them, they've been practical. 12 goals. They've been basically averaging, other than their draw, which mean, like, they could see, so it was a 0-0 draw. They basically have 2-0 their way versus everyone. Maybe a bit more variance, but based off that, this feels like this is going to be 2-0. They're going to catch them on defense and go. They just need the draw and they're good. And so,
okay, so we talked about Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. Slight theme there. Tunisia strike me as strong on the continent, do well in AFCON, not much of a threat at the World Cup for whatever reason. Against certain styles, they just can't show up. Algeria are a step above that. Good on the continent, but at the World Cup, it depends on which Algeria show up. And then Morocco showed last tournament at the World Cup what's possible. How do you see those three teams?
I trust Morocco right now based off how they've shown against Morocco. I think are built to play against anyone outside of the continent. It goes back to the statement I made. Your neighbors know who you are, but your guests don't. And so in Africa, yes. And sometimes it's just finishing, right? Because sometimes they just are snake bitten with their finishing, and that's what holds them back. But if you told me which of those teams will perform well, I'm still going to go Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, because I feel that Algeria have that experience, they have that deep AFCON experience, which prepares you for international. Tunisia, the only concern I will have like a Tunisia is, do they want to play? Will they be able to play and open up well enough, or will they just continue to sit back and be defensively responsible? Because if the plan is just to defend and then bomb forward afterwards, well, so you better defend well, and that means with your few opportunities. And I think that's the thing. I think up top, I trust the finishing for Morocco and Algeria a little bit more. A little bit more. There's a level with those two in terms of their finishers that I've seen that I trust more than Tunisia. I think Tunisia is going to be the probably on par, if not maybe a little bit above or below defensively. But it's when you get to those transition moments, can they then punish? Can they then punish and come back? It's like, if you get 3 chances, if you're going to play defensively, you need 1, maybe 2 of those to be goals to come through. And if you give Morocco 1 to 2 chances, out of our 3 chances, I feel like Morocco will give me 3. I feel confident that Morocco will give me, okay, let's not be that clinical. I feel Morocco will be confident to give me 2. Algeria will give me maybe 1.5. Tunisia, I feel in that type of a game, maybe 1. And so that's my level of confidence with their finishing. If they're going to play, look, you guys are going to come, we'll soak up this pressure and we'll hit you on the counter. That's how I feel. But again, I feel Morocco are built to play any style. If they want to be defensive, they can do that. If they want to play possession, they can do that. If they want to play transition up and down, fast break back, if they want to play route one, I think they can do that as well.
Yeah.
So I think they have the player and the quality spread out through the pitch where like Hakimi could low key be a shout for Ballon d'Or. Like
I was about
there
to
could be
say,
an argument for it, right? And that's just
yeah,
Hakimi, and like that's if like if you can still get a Ziyech who can still give you a little bit more. You still have Diaz who can give you more. That's Morocco. So on different levels, they have players who I feel are at a quality where whatever style you play, they can give you something. Algeria have that to a lesser degree, and I feel that Tunisia have that to even lesser degree. So I trust them in that order: Morocco, Algeria, and then Tunisia. For yourself, what do you think?
yeah. It's so, as you may have detected, I grew up in Australia,
Yeah.
and they drew Tunisia last tournament. And unfortunately, when Tunisia comes up, they're identified as okay. That's the 3 points. We need the 3 points from them
Mm-hmm.
and that's because their style. They do sit back a little bit. They invite pressure, and quite often they can get away with it, where they can beat you on the counter. But quite often they give away chances, and a good team will find a way through. Now, you, Canadian, Morocco was in Canada's group last time. Did you honestly think Morocco was like, okay, let's have 3 points? Or did you think, let's just get a point? How did you feel when the draw happened 4 years ago?
When the draw happened 4 years ago, the Canadian me said, "Okay, you need to, you need to get a draw versus like the thought process then was Belgium are scary. Maybe you can draw Croatia, and you need a result against Morocco. Like you need a result versus Morocco. That's how we looked at it. Now after the Belgium game, it was just like, okay, maybe we could get a little bit more. And then, after 15 minutes against Croatia, reality hits, and it was just Croatian dominance and excellence. And it never recovered. The Morocco game was an interesting game to me where the goalie mistake gives them a goal. There's a transition goal that happens. Morocco was a side that you looked and said, hey, they may have something here. I always go back to Morocco as the perfect example of a federation listening to their players, not their coach. Because yeah, the coach there was like, yeah, I'm not going to call the best player. The federation was like, but we want our best players. And then this is the paraphrase. And then they're like, well, we're gonna part ways, and we're gonna get our best players in. And that coach was honest from the get go. Like, look, I'm not looking to be pretty. I'm looking to get results. So yes, you can get results different ways. But guess what? I'm in the semifinals of the World Cup. And was it pretty? No, it was penalties versus Spain. It was it was penalties versus who else? Portugal, and then
Portugal,
now we're
yes.
like, yeah, and then we lost to France in the semis, and I was like, look, they looked good. They got it done how they did, and they could have made the finals. They could have won third place, and so you look at teams and style, and that's why the World Cup it's a matchup of styles, right? If you have that right matchup, it's not necessarily that you're a better team. It's just that stylistically you do better things. It's the same thing that when you play a high pressure team, the conversations are like, okay, if all you want to do is press us and turn us over, no, 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 you have the ball. No, you build up from the back. Like, and that's the thing with like whenever Canada struggles to switch to CONCACAF, whenever Canada struggles against a CONCACAF team, it's like, oh, why are we struggling? Because at our core, we want to be a running team. In our heart of hearts, we want to press you. That's the style. So when Guatemala says, you know what? You take the ball. We're gonna no, 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 no. We insist. Have it. Here's a drink. You know what? Here's a magazine. You break us down. And then they're like, well, but we want to run. That's why it's like after quarters they look great, but then after things, and that's where matchups matter. if you have a team that knows how to win in a tournament format, which is why I don't ever really worry about Morocco, because Morocco were getting results, right? They got the draw versus in 2018 they got the draw versus, was it Spain or Portugal? They had Spain and Portugal on their team, and then Iran. The Iran game was the own goal at the end where
Mhm.
it was the bad deflection, but they looked good in all their games. They could have gotten results in all their games. Just the ball didn't bounce their way, and then the next time they go from group to the semis. They are built for it. That is ultimately where it is. And that is the thing. What you have? Oh, in abundance, I believe you have creative
Yeah,
tens in abundance. Yeah,
they have
South
creative
Africa
tens
won.
in football and in rugby. Shout out to the Springboks. Little sport
Yes.
transition there.
Hey, I am watching the women's rugby
Hmm.
championships right now, and I'm like, uh it's funny on that total side how people will look like it's funny how some Canadians will look at me like, oh, I didn't know that we were good. I'm like, no, it was a big deal when we didn't make it. Rugby, we don't do much always, but we're expected to be there.
Hmm.
And so when Canada doesn't make a Rugby World Cup, they're like, oh, what's going on with you guys? It's the equivalent of what happened to Ghana not making AFCON. Let's have a deep dive into, and then you're like, oh, it's that bad. Oh my god. Oh my, I see. But no, like, yeah, it's funny when you look at different sports what the levels are. Last group to look at: Ghana playing Mali, Madagascar playing no, yeah, Madagascar playing Chad, Comoros playing Central African Republic. Ghana, a win here means Mali can't catch Ghana. A loss here means Ghana is still leading the group, but then Madagascar, we assume, will then, based off of their results, could be tied. Let's just assume it goes poorly for Ghana here. Ghana loses to Mali. Mali's on 15. Madagascar is on 16. And then Group I looks like the don't blink, don't sneeze, or you might just, it's not even going to the second place playoff. A slip up. If Mali beats Ghana, Group I is alive and stressful.
Group eyes
If they
on
don't,
every match.
yes, for you, when you look at Group I, Mali, I think, are ready. I think this is the biggest game of the group because if Ghana wins this, Mali's not catching them, and then Ghana can control their destiny because they play Madagascar in the last window. I think it's the last game of the last. I could be wrong there, but let me go to
Yeah,
match
there's
day.
two in the next window.
Yeah, October. Yeah,
Hmm.
but how big of a game? Let's look at this from the Malian standpoint. They get the win versus Central African Republic. No, no, it was Madagascar. Or I don't remember things anymore. Mali won their last game, okay? And now they play Ghana, who are there. This is a big
Ah,
opportunity for them.
Mali beat
What?
Comoros. Remember?
Yes, thank you. Why
Yes.
am I forgetting these things?
Hmm.
See, this is what happens when you do 90 minutes work. We're getting to the ref is putting up his marker and
The
is
board.
saying there's going to be some additional time. The board is up. We usually do 90 minutes on these just because we might as well.
Hmm.
But looking at this from a Mali perspective, if they win, do you how worried should Ghana be for Mali versus how much, because that game, if people forget, that game, Ghana comes back and wins that game. And that's what springs, and then that window, yeah, because that window, Ghana plays two just entertaining games, stressful, where it's back and forth goals affairs. But that basically launches them into a space where they are a lot more comfortable. Do you expect a game like that here? Or do you expect a more cagey affair where maybe it's we give the ball to the other side, and is it a we don't want to play in transition, or do you see both teams getting onto the pitch and saying we're going for this because this is our World Cup lives here? What type of
I,
style of a game do you envision?
I know we disparaged the Chad performance, but Ghana's done pretty well overall.
Mm-hmm.
16 points from the 6 games. It's been pretty good. I expect, however, Ghana might be a bit cagey, given what we know. Solid
Mhm.
midfield. Defense is pretty good. Number nine, iffy. So it'll be hold on to the ball, try not to concede, and then do something out wide when an opportunity presents. Mali, no, they will not be cagey. The president will probably go into the locker room and say this, that, the other. Don't embarrass me, and they'll go out all guns blazing, full court press. Yeah, Traore, dangerous,
Yes.
and Koulibaly as well. Those are guys you have to watch. Do not let them get in behind on any second because a
Mhm.
crosses come in. Then you look at you don't want a situation where you're thinking, is this guy the right goalkeeper for Ghana? You know what I'm talking about. A cross
Yeah.
comes in, a regulation catch, and spills. Mali score. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Don't give him
Mhm.
a chance.
No, definitely. I think I'm just pulling up the lineups there. Right, Gideon Mensah played, Seydu played, Lamptey pushing forward. They had Partey in the middle. Ernest Nwamwa scoring. Yeah, and then Jordan scored. Was it Jordan? No. Nwamwa scored and what have. But yeah, it was. This game was there. That's why I feel like Tariq Lamptey is going to start this game,
Hmm.
and then we'll see kind of what happens with it. But this was the lineup last time, and I feel like if you're Ghana, you almost have to treat, you don't want to treat this too cagey. A point is a point. Again, like we said earlier, if you win at home and then you draw on the road, you need the 3 points here. A 4 point window won't be, everyone was expecting a 6 point or a 4 point window here, just not as this. I think some people expected you to beat Chad and then maybe you draw Mali and then you're good. Because that still keeps it open. 6 points would have done the job here. But for Mali, I think they're coming to this game. I think they have to attack here. They do need to attack and they do need to put Ghana on the back foot and make them have to go. Now again, I feel like Ghana's makeup, they are built and ready for that transition. I wonder how much rotation happens
Hmm.
because again, the substitutions, I feel like again, that's where something Otto got it wrong. I think he should have rotated a little bit earlier, maybe that 60th minute to keep the pressure on, but also get some of those players into this type of an environment where they're trying to, it's a little bit more free. You're up 1-0 in this game. They scored the headline for this game when it happened back however long ago it was scoring in the 94th minute at the end, right? It's I still remember seeing Otto celebrating down the sideline, pumping all manner of fists and just being happy.
Hmm.
But
Relieved.
relieved, and then the next game Central African Republic was just like, and we're going back and forth. Okay, that's a Jordan Ayew hat trick game. You know, where he
Yes.
comes, that's like that. To me, I'm a striker. I don't know why they don't play me there. Like, I'm not gonna have this
Yeah.
conversation
No,
right now.
no. But we've covered that.
For
So
days,
there were
yes.
two things to stand. Williams didn't play that game. So there's that. Well, he didn't start. Sorry.
No, he didn't. You
The
know, he
point,
didn't start.
he didn't start.
Yeah.
I would expect him to start this time. Also,
Mm.
I wonder if Lamptey and to a lesser extent Partey were left out against Chad in anticipation of this game. Could that be a strategy?
I think so. I think they were left out specifically for this game. Now for Lamptey, it's were you left out for that game or were you just injured? Like
Mm.
with unfortunately with Lamptey, you always have to think, did he tweak something in training? It's unfortunate that the player, like when he plays, he's great, but when he's available is always the question. But I think they saved Partey and Lamptey for this Mali matchup because again, I think their lineup versus Chad was effectively the same lineup that they played when they won 5-0. So I think Otto Addo is going back to the drawing board and saying, these guys have had success versus you. I think I'm going to get that type of game from you, and we'll go. I think, though, if you're Ghana, maybe you want to start this game off. on fire and maybe get a goal. I'd say get a goal early and then settle the game down. The one worry is Ghana is not exactly a side that Ghana is not, and I think this is a good comparison as well. Not an analogy, but a comparison. Ghana scoring early to me feels like England versus Italy at the Euros, where they score early and like, okay, Southgate was like, okay, let's defend and take the 1-0 win home. And maybe some transition. And I'm like, that's not going to be effective for you. And so for Ghana, I think this is you either have to put the pressure on always and trust that your backline can defend. I think not the fun thing, but the key thing to keep in mind is that you don't have those same right. You have Salisu who's there, but you don't have Alexander Jiku who, whether he's falling out of favor with this current side or if you think he is just not in good form, you don't have that confidence in the back. I think you see Otto is searching for that. He's really trying to figure out what his best move is. He also has to figure out, like, if I don't have Thomas Partey, who are my midfielders? Because those two weren't it against Chad, right? I just received word he's reached the coastline. The Chad player has reached the coastline.
Wait,
right? He's reached
Africa
the coastline of Africa.
or North America? Okay.
No, Africa. He has to go through customs to get on the boat, but he has still not been stopped. He's still
dribbling.
Still dribbling through, unchecked, just welcomed. But so I think for them, he has to figure out what that is. And for Mali, I mean, whoever they put at right back, right, is where if I'm Mali and I'm attacking, right? If it's Tariq Lamptey, okay, then every cross is going to his side. Like, I don't care. Like, if it's Caleb, then we're gonna push him around to see how much he's ready for this type of a game, right? This isn't Unity Cup anymore. You play Chad, and some of the Chad players were like, he stood his ground sometimes, but not. But I think whoever Ghana puts at right back, that's who you have to tap, which is where I wonder, though this is listed as a back three, I wonder if Otto Addo tries to go to a back three in this matchup as well, even though, like, Seidu is really more of a fullback that they just put in there to be safe and push. But, like, I wonder if he thinks a back three is where you want because you're afraid of the counter. Because between Koulibaly and Traore, I think that is enough to say your fullbacks, Ghana's fullbacks want to push forward. They want to bomb forward, and that leaves that space there. And so if they do that, like a 3-5-2 type of a formation for Ghana would be best suited to defend and also to go forward, because whether you look at the 5 as a 2-1-2 or if you look at the 5 as your two wing backs, because I think if you do that, you leave your two wing backs, you leave Kudus in the middle, at the spear at the top of that, so you have your midfield three, and if you want to put Jordan and either Iñaki or Jordan or an Antoine Semenyo, you can put them there. Or, curious, could be fun, you could put Semenyo as one of your wing backs, have him play from that deep, and then you have that as your right wing back, and then your left you put Gideon Mensah back on the pitch, and then you can push that forward. Those, they have options in terms of how creative they want to be, but I am curious to see what they do with it. I really for you, what are you looking for? How do you see that game finishing?
In an ideal world,
Mali?
I'd take your 3-5-2 and the two wing backs in possession next to the 5, based on our list. But the two midfielders have Kudus in front, so they form a 3, and he's kind of like a 10 false 9 situation. And then the other two, they invert. So out of possession, they come back in. And then in possession, they go out wide with the wing backs protecting them in case of a transition. So that way you can still press, but if you lose possession, you have some safety net, or you have guys behind you. You're not going to get one-on-one situations. If they lift the ball over, Now, Alvarado has to play his best. Whoever's available, they're going to be there. Even if guys are coming off the half, like Lamptey, like you said, if Ghana can score first, that's good. But you got to keep going. Don't try and shut the gate because you don't want another chat.
Mm-hmm. No amount of goals is enough in this game. But it's like if they can get the ball centrally, you trust Kudus to be able to either fend off one and do the decision making. There will be where you're looking and saying, I hope we can make a good choice here. But I feel as if they have I think they will have an advantage out wide. If he makes those decisions quickly, I think that helps you. I think that helps you a lot. I don't have the minutes here. See, I almost want to know when he makes those substitutions because I feel like that is the most important thing to look at.
I want to say it started with a 7 against Chad. It's like a
Mm.
70th minute onwards.
But like that's the thing. The thing with Ghana and World Cup qualifiers has been like the thing that we loved about Otado against when he first came was that he was quick, right? Against Nigeria, first was away. He was like, Jordan's not playing well. Make swap immediately, and it was like,
Mhm.
what? We can make decisions on the what? Otto, come, and then now it's just
Sorry.
like 78th minute. You know, it's time for fresh legs. Meanwhile, like Antoine is just like leg. My leg has
Yeah.
not been fresh since the 30th minute. What do you mean time for fresh legs? And so for me, it's his inconsistency with that. That's where it has created more issues because he's never been. If we know 60th minute he's making a choice, it's the same issue we have like a player like Jesse Marsh, like a coach like Marsh. In Canada, it's like if you're gonna play that pressing style, that's fine. But you know what would make it be hard for a team is at the 60th minute, you have another player coming on who's coming in full gas. Not the 75th minute, not the 80th minute, the 60th minute. Or at halftime, just full gas for that app. Just do it.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes difficult to really appreciate and go with it. But if he can find that consistency, if he makes those decisions earlier, I think they open up their opportunity to really keep the pressure on. And if they do that, I think they are in a better position to come away with a win because right now, like coming into this group, Mali was the side that was supposed to be at the top of the group, right? They were the higher ranked team. They were coming through. And Ghana was the third ranked, the third highest ranked. Or they were the second ranked, but it was like, I don't think we're going to do well.
Mm.
But that's where they were. And so for
You get
me, yeah.
you get the sense that initially Otto Addo he didn't have that familiarity with the players, so he just hooked them. But now he knows who's who. He maybe has favorites, and he holds on to that. He's like, I believe in this guy. So 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. Oh, it's 75th minute. I should probably turn it off.
I feel like there's a level of familiarity, but then there's also he is a coach that I don't know. I think playing the game you have a better sense, but then when you're coaching, feeling the tide turn or anticipating things that could come, I don't think he's consistent there, right? And that's where it's like initially maybe at the beginning he's trying to send a message and be like, "Hey, I'm like he's the new coach for the team who comes in and gets rid of all the game room because we want to be serious about sports here." And it's like, okay, cool, everyone loves that. But then after a while, it's like, no, he's just the same. So I don't know if he's more familiar because I think he's tried to do some things and it didn't go well. He gave Kudus the armband, and then AFCON didn't go well. And then it was immediately taken off of him and put back to Jordan. And then people feel a way about that. Alexander Jiku isn't around always. Like, you remember the last, which game was it that they played against Chad? Where it was against Chad, where it's like, okay, Jordan's coming off the pitch, and the armband turned into hot potatoes. Like, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. Thomas Partey's like, I don't want the armband. Jiku is like, give me the thing, fine, give me it. Or eventually gets the Caduce. It's like, fine, he'll wear it. Like, those things are still there, and whether that's politics behind the scenes, whether that's people, families, tribalism, whatever you want to call it, that's still there. I just wish we could get that coach in those first windows who said, yeah, we're here to do this. We're here to do this. Like, because even like when they played Brazil in the friendly before the World Cup, and they just, I mean, let's be honest, they just got ran through. I was just like, hey, logically it makes sense. He played the players who got him there, and then he switched everyone out and was like, okay, Iñaki, get out there. Okay, Salisu, get out there. Other players, go out there. So I tend to miss that one, that coach, because I feel that coach, if he was a little bit more on the pulse of the game, I think it could go. Because to this point, there's a degree where we still don't quite know what his style is. We still don't quite know what he's trying to do. And so because of that, we have to be patient and kind of look to see. But right now, I think he's in the hospital. He's in the operating room. I don't know if his gloves are on, but he's there. And so maybe the team gets it done. Maybe they get it done because of him. Maybe they get it done in spite of him. But I think it's a conversation where we wait and see. But this Mali game, I think, is really going to be that it's going to set a lot. If he comes away with a win here, if he's on the dot here, I think ultimately we look and say, yeah, he got the job done twice. He's got us to 2 World Cups, technically. And if not, then we have conversations based off of was it him, and then all the conversations come back. Is it because he's influenced from the outside? Is it because the GFA wants these players here, not other players? Is it because whatever it is, we don't know. But that's what we have to wait and deal with. But I think Ghana gets it done, probably like another 2-1 game. I don't see this being a high scoring affair. The only concern I have with Ghana, to be perfectly honest, Benjamin Sare as the goalkeeper hasn't been tested yet. He hasn't had a game where he's been tested and been called upon to make save after save. And so Mali feels like the type of game that'll be. And then we're going to have a real conversation about, okay, we've been rocking with this guy because he's got results. But, I mean, he got a result versus Chad. He got a result versus Central African Republic. He got the goal against... He didn't play well. Not that he didn't play well, but deflections not Unity Cup is still there.
Yes.
And so this, to me, defense-wise, on the side. Midfielder swaps, we assume. According to Transfer Market, Tariq Lamptey is injured again. But like, to me, this is a big conversation on the goalie. Because that's something we still haven't figured out. And we don't know if we figured it out because he hasn't been in a game where he's been tested. Right? And that's what we'll have to wait and see with it. This is a FIFA type thing. So CONCACAF gave us 12 minutes of additional time. So we got 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes to go. Before we wrap up, anything else here standing out for you before we wrap this up here?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more African teams at the World Cup. Honestly, that's a headline. And I look forward to seeing more.
It's a good headline.
More African teams being impactful. I'm tired of one African team gets out of the group and everyone else goes. I think this format, we see 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 9.5.
That's true. But here would be the question for you. Do you think we could get to the round of 16? Could we get 5 African sides to the round of the 16?
So that means 5 teams win in the round of 32.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that's depending on the draw. So you need some group winners. Essentially, you need some group winners.
Mm.
That's going to be tough because the seeding, aside from maybe Morocco, I don't think Nigeria will be there. Maybe Cameroon gets top seeding, perhaps, but that'll be slim. The teams will be in tough groups, so you're going to have that. Let's get 2 or 3 points. 4 points might not be possible. So teams will be finishing third, watching the results. Okay, we're in. Now we're going to play France. Now we're going to play Argentina. That's going to be tough, round of 32. I think we get 2 or 3 teams to the round of 16. That's possible. 5, that'll be a dream. That'll be a dream if they're all playing in America and one of them knocks out the US. Read into that what you want. Jollof rice is nice.
Dream. To dream. To dream. No, I think that would be good. I think if you could get, of the 9.5, so let's call it 9 for now, of the 9 CAF teams getting to the World Cup, if you could get 6 to the round of 32 and then 4 to the round of 16, I think for me that's success. I think that's a successful run for them. And maybe one group winner. One group winner would be nice for African countries. So one group winner, 6 teams in the round of 32, and then 4 in the round of 16. I think that's a success for Africa. You guys let me know. Also, let me know what you guys think of these CAF World Cup qualifiers so far. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you guys leave a comment there, leave a like as well. Again, we're trying to get to 2025 by the end of 2025. So make sure if you haven't already, leave a subscribe. We do primarily Canadian and African content. Lots of African content today. It may have felt a little bit Ghanaian, but look, when I have a Ghanaian here, we are going to talk about it, okay? So, GFA. Yes, we see it well. We see it. Yes. I see it. Also, we need to burn those white kits. Never wear the white kits again. Only wear the yellow kits, and that's it. We play better in the yellow kits. It's like here in Canada, we play the white kits like red kits. Okay. Perfect. If you're looking for Wallace-Bruce, he is at PSP Media. I'm going to leave his description in all his contact there. Before we let you go, do you have anything that's coming up that we can be looking forward to be engaging with?
Yeah, head to pspmedia.ca. I'm going to be writing some club stories on a handful of teams that are in the Champions League. Some have Ghanaian players. I'm going to look at Monaco, Salisu. I'm going to look at PSG as well. They got the Moroccans. And yeah, it'll be interesting look at how they did in the transfer window and how they might look for the Champions League.
Indeed. So look for that. pspmedia.ca. You can find it PSP on Twitter as well. Are you on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for those as well?
Yes.
The pod?
So the podcast, we'll have some drop next week. So there's always good football chat in there as well.
Indeed, there always is. All right, so guys, this has been Akwesi with the Africans. That's been Nii Wallace-Bruce. Guys, it's been great talking CAF, and as always, I'm just going to stop talking right about... Nope, wrong button. I'm going to stop talking right about...